Hi girls, my name is Linda Stakeley. I'm a registered dietitian at Huntsville Hospital Wellness Center, and I'd like to talk to you today about healthy eating. Not about dieting, because we know girls don't need to be dieting. We want you to get a good mixture of food. Carbohydrates, fats, and proteins are what we're talking about. All foods are made up of these three macronutrients. If you leave out carbohydrates or if you leave out fats, you're not getting a completely healthy diet. So it's important that you have a good mix of all of those nutrients in your diet, plus the vitamins and minerals that food is going to give you. We're going to take a quick look at the different food groups. We're going to start with the grain group, and we know that more of our grains should be whole grain. Rather than eating the white pasta or the white bread, we want you to make choices like whole grain breads and the brown rice rather than the white rice. Try the whole grain pasta and even some whole grain waffles and whole grain breads or rolls. Here's a raisin bran muffin that would be a good treat, or raisin bran cereal. But the whole grain is going to give you more nutritional value. It's going to stay in your stomach longer, and it even tastes better. When you look at your labels, make sure that your bread says 100% whole wheat, or you're getting nothing more than white bread that's colored with molasses to make it look like brown bread. So 100% whole grain or whole wheat is what we're looking for. About 6 servings a day is what's recommended for girls your age. As we move over to the vegetable group, we're looking at lots of different pretty colors, the greens and the oranges and the yellows. A rainbow of colors is what we're looking for with your vegetables. We'd like to see you eat about 2 to 2.5 cups of vegetables a day. So we could actually have maybe some broccoli for dinner and some raw carrots. We could even have a baked potato. A sweet potato is going to be more nutritious than a white potato. And then if you just want to snack on something, maybe just some celery or raw carrot sticks would be good. But we need to include more vegetables and more colorful vegetables in our diet. Moving over to our fruits, we'd like to see you eat your fruit rather than drinking your fruit. So it's much better to eat a fresh apple than to drink the apple juice. Although a glass of juice about 4 ounces is a good serving size. But more fruit that's the whole fruit, such as berries or pears. And the fresh pear is going to be better than even the canned pear because it's going to have more fiber in it. But there also is a place in your diet for canned fruits. Lots of cantaloupe, raisins are a good source. Even bananas are a very good fruit. And if you'll eat about 2 cups of fruit a day, you'll be getting what your body needs. One thing that girls often don't get enough of is dairy. The recommendation is 3 cups of milk a day, and we'd like to see that be low-fat milk. This represents the amount of fat that you find in 1 cup of whole milk. That's actually about 8 grams of fat. So if you're choosing the skim milk or fat-free milk, you would have a negligible amount of fat. This is the saturated or the bad fat. So we'd like to see you make the lower fat choices. We also have cheese in this group, and it's a better idea to get the lower fat cheeses as well, just to cut some of the bad fat or saturated fat out of our diet. Now remember, we do need some fat in our diet, but we want that to be the good fat. When we look at our protein food sources, we not only have peanut butter and eggs and meats and chicken, you also have beans and peas as a good source of protein. So you can be a vegetarian and be healthy if you make good choices. But just remember, when you eat chicken, it's better to eat the baked or the grilled chicken without the skin. Fish is always a good choice to have. Salmon is great to eat, tilapia, catfish, but we just don't want a lot of deep fat fried fish. Peanut butter is a terrific snack to put on crackers, the whole grain crackers, just for a mid-afternoon snack or something before you go to bed if you're hungry. And we move on down to the oils, which is not really a food group, but we already know that people eat fat, and it's okay to eat it in limited amounts. But did you realize that your salad dressing is considered a fat? Nuts are a fat, butter and margarine, bacon is considered a fat rather than a protein. So some of these things in your diet are good in limited amounts. Nuts are great for an afternoon snack, and just a little handful is what we're talking about. When we move to this last group that I've set up, you have several choices, and these are a lot of things that girls your age are probably eating much of. Pizzas are a very popular food for girls when you go to spend the night parties or skating parties or the different things that you're doing. But if you make choices like a meat pizza with sausage and pepperoni or hamburger meat on it, you're going to be getting a lot of fat. This piece of pizza is going to have the equivalent of this much fat in it. That's a lot of fat. And it's okay to eat pizza. This is a very large piece. Probably 2 medium-sized pieces would be the equivalent of this. So I would stick with 1 large piece or maybe 2 medium-sized pieces of pizza. But there's a lot of fat in your pizza, and we want to make good choices along the way. If you sit around with your girlfriends and you're eating nachos and cheese and chips and that kind of thing, this is about 2 orders of chips. And you're getting this much fat, and this vial is filled up to right here. That's about 350 calories and a lot of fat. So it's okay to eat this, but we just want to eat it in limited amounts. And of course, everybody knows that sweets taste good, but to having a constant diet of sweet foods is not a good choice. When you eat a piece of cake, just make it a small piece of cake, and don't do sweets every day. What about French fries? This is the amount of fat in 1 small order. So we'd have to cut this order down to about like that. So there's a lot of fat there. And then if you want to add a 1/4 pounder with cheese, you have 3 more vials of fat. So fast food may not be the best route for you. And once a week, that's not a problem. But if you're doing fast food every day, those are not good choices. So we're going to end up with a lot of fat when we go to a fast food restaurant, when we have our French fries and our hamburger. And then we add a 20-ounce Coke to it that has 17 teaspoons of sugar in it. So we've got a diet of lots of sugar and lots of fat, and it's not going to make a healthy young lady. So my suggestion is to drink more water. Include just good old plain water, tap water or bottled water in your diet. You still do need several glasses of water a day. And I know we often talk about 8-ounce glasses, and that's just kind of a good ballpark number. It's not set in stone. 6 to 8 glasses would be great, but drinking more water instead of drinking Cokes is what we all need to be doing. And we don't have to buy the vitamin waters or the extra specialty water products to get what your body needs. Just good old plain water is what we're looking for. I've also got some more vials that I want you to take a look at. This is a 12-ounce Coke, so if you're drinking canned Cokes, that's 10 teaspoons of sugar that you're putting in your body. If you get the large Coke, the 24-ounce or 32-ounce Coke at a fast food restaurant or a 7-Eleven, you can get as much as a half a cup of sugar in your diet. That's a lot of sugar. This is 1 chocolate chip cookie, and who stops with 1 cookie? And again, it's okay to eat 1 or 2 cookies and maybe drink a glass of milk with that when you're at a friend's house, rather than choosing Cokes so often in your diet. Or even a glass of water would be a good choice. This is pancake syrup, which is nothing but pure sugar, and that's the equivalent of 2 tablespoons of pancake syrup. So when you're using syrup on your pancakes, don't use quite as much. This represents a Hershey candy bar, and it's about 6 or 8 teaspoons of sugar, and then you have all the fat that's in there as well. So again, occasionally things like that are fine, but too often we're making a diet of these kinds of foods rather than eating this healthy mix over here, which is really what your bodies need.